sliced the dome vertically. So we've got 3/5 of this dome. And we removed 2/5 of the dome out here. It gives us a vertical wall. It gives us a wall we can put a lot of windows into, and it gives us the height that we want to get 8-foot ceilings on the upper floor. What you're dealing with in a tiny house, the meme that's out there for the, whatever you want to call them tiny houses, they're basically a homemade travel trailer. Started on Monday morning, riser walls, struts, exterior panels. Called us on Friday morning, said, okay, we're starting the connections of the extensions, and how do you want this and how do you want that? So in 4 days, they got this whole entire thing closed in. Actually, Friday they were doing the underlayment for the roofing. So it's making it watertight at the end of the 15th. Put one side in.
No, not. You have pens? A handful? More the merrier.
Tommy,
Yes, sir.
on that particular side, what I'm going to say is, I've gotten calls where somebody says, oh, we're on a strut and it's too short, but it's a red strut and it's supposed to fit. But it doesn't fit. There's 3-inch gap. So what happens if you're not level down here, that's the row you're going to see it on, where if this is going, this one's going down. So it takes this strut and pushes this over. So in this situation, you might have a strut right there, that yellow strut, and you're going to say, it doesn't fit because it's too long by 1 inch or 2. Okay, this is a 3-dimensional structure. When you push out on the framework, it gets bigger. The points, the hubs, get further apart. If you push in on the structure, those hubs get closer together. They're all angled to the center of the sphere. So if you need more room, you got to pull those out. It's a little tight, so pull on that, and it's hard to do that. You're sitting up there not doing, you know.
Remember, we're not nailed in at the bottom, so don't push us off.
Don't push too hard.
So it's the people on the
I
scaffolding.
got enough ass.
Use the wrench.
The ladies have a wrench. I gave it up. Oh, you gave it up?
Good enough. Yeah. Nope.
Well, there's different ways to do it, but you do 180.
What do you want us to do?
Come off parallel to the strut, 180. All the way around the other way. All the way around the other way. There you go. Stick out parallel to the strut. Nope, you're not parallel.
Towards your face.
Towards your face. Push up. There you go. Right there. No. You want to push up on it and be parallel with the strut. Out there. But push up on it.
Outside.
No. Push up on that. Don't pull down. You're not doing it right.
Push out towards me. Push out towards me.
Keep pushing that way.
Yep,
There
out
you go.
towards me.
Hold on. Not now.
Bring it on closer to the head.
All right.
What's that sideways?
Go.
That's how you do it.
Bang! Next.
Blue!
Hey, Cloud.
Charlie, grab the blue one.
What I got?
The blue one goes on your side, Charlie.
Yes, sir, George, buddy.
Yes, sir. Red too, right?
I want a red, please.
Turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it. There you go.
It'd be nice if somebody was going to grab that from you.
It's all good.
I'm only so strong.
You're only so tall. Maybe you live, but then somebody has to carry it.
Every now and then being tall helps.
We're gonna have to go backwards with the scaffold a bit.
Okay, the gussets have to be on top. So the exception, I kind of mentioned this, is when you have a skylight. So what we've got, what we have is 2x8 struts representing 5 windows going into this pentagon panel right here. So we want the gussets away from the windows.
So you had it right.
The way you had it. Now, just by chance, that one was correct, and we're doing this one as a show and tell, which is what you need to do. So you have to be aware of where your windows go.
All right, flip it
The
again.
window goes here, the gussets are on the inside.
Where the window goes, there's no gussets.
So the
So your gussets have to be.
We could easily, with these two sections moving around, have 8 planks. Okay, somebody can walk right there. He's standing right next to the door. So these guys are going to be up there holding the top yellow and blue together with the hub they're going to be putting in. That's where they got to be. So. Well, you can't pin it in until you hold the boat together. You may have to back. You know, if you see it's different, if we see it.
We're good.
I'll show an example in a minute. Correct. All right, guys, up on the steps and then in the hub. Wait a minute. No, you're okay in the middle, right there. What you doing? Where you? Oh, no, Hardy. Is that Hardy? Yeah, with the black hat on the left. Charlie, okay. You can pound your pin in. It's the guys on the top. Now, up on the top. You realize you can't have a web going straight up. You can't have a web going straight down because it'll hit. So again, put the yellow in the blue in the small hole. Find the small hole and put the yellow and the blue in it. You should have a little bit of space left over. Sort of like. No, that's another little trick we're going to do if we got enough people in the room. No, you didn't see it. Yeah, you're right. This is the second page. I didn't give you the second page. lot of things.
Take deep breaths.
Take the victory, like take that victory. Look at your work.
Yeah, we did.
I mean, I could be out there, but
Oh, he's got one.
this is my portion right here. That's what I'm good at.
The ground.
All right.
I'm just, there's too many people up there.
We've got this strut and this strut. In this case, we've got a blue, red, red. This is going to be a red strut. This will be a black strut. This is what we would have put in. We're going to do the same over here. We're going to put this up. We've got a hub here and we've got a hub here. Then we're going to put this strut right across. Here we are with 3 struts. That'll sit right there. It's not going to sag. It's not going to move. It's rigid. You saw how rigid that is when you're putting these 3 together, and it's there. It's locked. It's a triangle. Triangles don't move. Triangles don't do anything. If you've got a rectangle and you put pressure on one side of it, it wants to go that way. If this is a square wall, a rectangular wall, and you've got studs on it, there's nothing to resist that with just a stud wall sitting there. Then you turn around and you put plywood on. So you've got a sheet of plywood here and a sheet of plywood here. What does that do? Plywood layers are this way and that way, which means that structure lines are going at an angle. So your structure line is just like putting X bracing on that, doing exactly the same thing. What did they do here? They made a bunch of triangles. They're making the plywood into triangles by creating these cross sections of structural support. All we're doing is taking the triangle out, connect the dots. Continue on, go to the next one. You don't need any of this. This is all open. There's your opening. For foundation. Now, they built entire houses out of this. Just stack them up. You do 8-foot, 10-foot walls. You're going to fill it with concrete. You're going to put rebar in here. So there's a saddle right here. And that rebar sits in that saddle. Horizontal rebar. This happens to be a corner one. So your rebar is going to come over, there'll be a bend, and you'll go off this one. But in the straight one, here's your rebar, just sitting here in the saddle, continuing across, and you've got 20-foot long rebar. You know your wall may not be 20 feet, but whatever you have. Building a dome, you need to cut these at an angle. When you're doing a 3-frequency dome, you have 15 sides. You have 360 degrees. Divide that up. What do I have? 24 degrees.
24? Is that what it is?
Now, 15 times 24, you do 10, then you do half 20.
Make it 360. Okay, I'll get
Different ways that people get that number. But basically, the angle is 12 degrees. So you're going to come back and you're going to cut this off at 12 degrees with whatever you have. You got a saw, you got a hot wire, but if you're going to use these, they need to be cut at an angle. And somewhat precisely. I'm not saying you're going to get down to that 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 inch, but you should be close. That's the main ones that you're going to find are like this. They're 2 pieces of foam that are going to be 2.5 to 3 inches thick on the outside, and the concrete is filling the void in here, and that void is 8 inches in this one. Looks like we'll make it 6, but it's whatever. It's supposed to be 8. The bigger ones are 8 inches, the thinner ones are 6 inches. If you're doing concrete that's over 4.5, 5 feet tall, you want 8 inches of concrete with rebar. And the amount of rebar is depending on the backfill height that you have. So this is all about part of the engineering stuff that we will do. This is ARCS, and ARCS has been bought by somebody, and I'm not sure their name is still ARCS. ARXX. You can look up ARXX, and you will get whoever bought them out, whatever their new name is. But they have this joint, really nice joint that rotates. It interlocks together. You see this interlock right here. The next one interlocks with that. You wouldn't have two corners like this. You have one rotating corner, and then you have a straight end block. You can run these straight, but they have block that are open. So you can find this corner very easy. You can lay it out. Actually, when I said both are 24 degrees on a miter, it really isn't. One is 24 point something, the other one's 23 point something. Because we got two different lengths involved. So you're going to have every 16, no actually these are every 12 inches, you're going to have this bracing in here, this outside piece that's got plastic in it. These are set up at 16 on center. They've got these rip marks on the outside. That's a nailing strip, a screwing strip. You put your sheetrock on here, your wood panel, whatever you want, you screw that into that. So it's set up for what you need to do. As a foundation, you need waterproofing on the outside of this. The waterproofing should be compatible to the foam insulation. So you got to find the right waterproofing membrane. They will abate. Each company will tell you what's compatible with the type of foam that you're using. There's two kinds of foam, cheap PPS foam and more expensive extruded foam. It depends on how they make these. This one has a corner block. So when you come to a standard house, traditional house, you've got a corner, comes off at 90 degrees, doesn't work in the dome unless you've got this extension coming out, in which case you'll have to do corners on the extension. The ones that are sitting over there are a little heavier. They're concrete mixed with styrofoam. Sorry that I've forgotten the trade name on it. Well, pass it around. You're handling a concrete block filled with foam or mixed with foam. Board on that corner. So we need secured board on that corner, which means you just can't toenail a couple work together and just pull the uniter on it. You need a strap tie across, you need something going across to hold those boards together so you don't get a blowout, as it's called. When you fill this with concrete, there's a lot of pressure. When you've actually got a rod that you're going down like this, getting the air out of that space, getting the air out of your concrete, making sure it's below the floor all the way down. There's a technique. Usually you want to be the second one. You want to be the 5th or 12th or 18th one that they've done. And maybe ask for a reference. You know, did you do one before? Whereabouts? Okay, let me go see it. Let me talk to the owner. Any problems that you have. They should know after doing it, okay, here's this kind of ICF block, here's how to use it, here's the caveats that I need to know to do this thing. This is expensive, but you're not doing it with it. This is being done for you. This is contract labor that you have, and it's all being done. Don't think you can do this yourself, or you need to technique that is kind of, I've seen people put up their own block and then have the concrete guy come along who's done insulated concrete forms and let him figure out what he has to brace or correct or deal with. But you save some labor because it's like a Lego set fitting together. But you can certainly do that. You can cut the wood. I mean, that's not rocket science. So, what we want to do is put up parted triangles on the outside of the dome. I'm looking for some being over there.
It's about 1:30.
Okay, 1:30. So let's go into the shop. The shop's going to be cooler, and we're going to cut our blue strip in the shop. So we get out of the heat and the sun, and the sun's going to go behind these trees here shortly. So let's do that. Let's go in there. And there's enough chairs in there, unless we brought them out and bring it back in. But we're going to be doing some things in the shop. When I set up there, you pull that dome in and it gets smaller. You push the dome out and it gets bigger. So this 2x4 has to be smaller in order to make this work and not come together and bump into each other on the inside down here. 3 inches shorter means 1.5 inches on each end. Give you the framing square that we've got out there is 18 inch, but the 1/4 inch we're not going to worry about. But we are worried about this stop over here or this stop over here. Why would you do that? When you get right in between that strut with the 2x4 playing over there, if we made these 18.25 inches, if it was 18 inches, we couldn't fit this one in between. Now we have to double stack. The height would be double what we could normally put together. So it saves half the space, really, for the struts. By going to 1/4 inch wider, this one can interlock and fit in between. If we're doing just a 2x8 dome, we're not doing an 18-inch dome. Doesn't matter, of course, because we're not stacking them in between each other. So the 1/4 inch is what you get. That dome out there started a long time ago. Yeah, thanks. That dome was started a long time ago. What I need is an inch and a half. There should be holes in here already.
Oh, really?
You can see over. Concerned with the fact that how do you put this? Where do you space this? The criteria that I use is take your thumb, the distance from this nut over here, and that's about where you space it.
And then half it up with this.
And that's in the middle.
Okay.
Don't measure it. You don't
measure
need
it.
to.
Okay.
You do have a V-notch in here, on the outside, right here. And I can shove this all the way down flush to the inside. I can't flush it to the outside. Why? Because you've got plywood you're going to nail to the outside, and it's at an angle. So if you ran this flush to the outside and put this on here, it's got to be back at least 1/8, 1/4, 3/16. So line it up to the bottom. That leaves you room for your V-notch in here with the way he cut this gusset. Gusset's 2-inch ridge-shaped nail. You don't want 2 1/4 inch ridge-shaped nail. Unless you like stretching your legs, rooting your pants, as you're climbing around and sitting on these struts, and these nail points are sticking out. They're really sharp.
Yep.
I'm going to test for that. Down there. So I know how many we bought for putting that together. And we have some of our stuff prefab. And I bought 35,000 nails to do that. Just put that up too. Most of those stainless steel. Salt water. Building on salt water, yeah. These are galvanized, they're hot tip galvanized nails. That's what you want. Yep. You don't want a what are called electromechanical galvanized nails. Coating is strong. So you want hot dipped galvanized, which means the coating has been put on differently and it's much thicker for a coating on it. This is going to be outside. You don't want to start rust on this thing. If you have moisture in between your wall counting, again, you want to say, you're doing it for 100 years. Something is going to start rusting. So buy stainless steel nails in some cases, or the hot dip galvanized nails. Probably for a long time, over 80-gallon, 60-gallon container. Doesn't do anything. You can pull the trigger back, doesn't do anything. That plunger is in and the trigger is pulled, you're shooting a nail.
This is beneficial against your chest.
So you get one nail in there, and I'm going to move my hand back to where I want to push this tight to this stop and pull this back. So I'm going to pull this back and push this in. Like that. It's random. 6 nails. Let's see if it does it. We're going to use the ricochet of this thing to lift off. So just shoot one nail through it. So the reason that I'm going to just control the bounce. 6 nails. Speed. There's no pattern to it. You just want to have 6
Right?
nails.
I use these every day. Right? Just hit it. No, hold the squeeze the trigger and pump it. There you go.
Horizontal and an 1/8 of an inch gap on the ends of the plywood, the 4-foot ends, to the next sheet of plywood on the floor framing that you do. So when we jam it together, the tongue and groove has that gap. They make it that way if it's the same manufacturer. Often it's not. I'm buying 2 different groups of plywood. So that's going to already be set up for you when we ship this to you, because we're buying plywood in unit quantities. We buy 5-6 units at a time. And a unit is anywhere from 44 to 55 sheets. You need to shop that way. You need, on this dome here, there's 105 triangles. The average here is 1 sheet of plywood for 1 triangle panel. So you need 100 sheets, 105 sheets on your dome, 4x8. That's at 44 pieces per unit, that's 2.5 units of plywood. You got a floor system you're going to do on your second floor. Your first floor is radiant floor heated concrete. Your second floor is going to need 20 sheets, 25 sheets on your second floor. So you need 3 units of plywood. Now go to your lumber yard, go to Menards, go to Lowe's, go to wherever you want to go, and tell them you want 3 units of plywood. As a residential customer, they're not used to hearing that. You can get a minimum of 4% off. In addition to their 11% sale, you get 4% off for the quantity discount. So work that out to your advantage. Threaded rod anchor bolts, but you'll get a little ring washer, 1 inch diameter, maybe 1.25 inch. Fits over the 1/2 or 5/8 inch anchor bolt that you put in the concrete. Throw those things away and use this. This has got a 5/8 hole. Fit over that 5/8 anchor bolt. This is the bearing plate that you need to tie this down. This is what you don't have. On the photos that you see where the house is gone and the garage is gone, and there's no ribbon of 2x4 going around the base. It's all gone. And you can look at any house that's standard built. I'm belittling some contractors here, but I'm going to do it. You put your anchor bolts in the concrete. They're sticking up. So what do? You take your 2x4 base plate, sill plate that goes along that, and you have somebody hold it. You lay it on top of that. You line it up with the outside edge. And then over each of those bolts coming up from the concrete, you tap your hammer. It makes an impression on the bottom. Then you take your drill and you drill out the hole. And you do it quickly and sloppily. So then you take that and you lay that 2x4 down over it, and there's a hole here that's too tight because you don't want them real loose. So you go back, lift it up, drill it out. Instead of using a 5/8 bit, use a 3/4 or 1-inch bit, or you ream it out with taking your drill and make it really wide. And your washer isn't going to do a darn thing. It's just going to be there. It's going to fall right through that hole almost. You try to tighten that down. This is not. You need to do this. You can go in your garage probably right now, if you don't have it insulated and paneled on the inside, you can go and take those little bolts off, those little nuts off, take the washer off and put one of these on. They're about $1.50. You can go to Home Depot and order these. You won't find them on the shelf unless you're in the West Coast. These are designed for earthquake load. That's what they're used for, primarily. But you go into Home Depot and you say, look it up. It's called a bearing plate. They look it up. Oh yeah, we got it. We got to order it. It'll be about a week or 10 days. Order it.
What might be less expensive if you go to an electrical job or gray bar, Crescent Electric, and you ask for 2x2 flat washers, the power line industry uses them on pole hardware up and down, and you get them in just boxes of 100.
Yeah. We buy these in a box of 100. If you are doing a slab-on grade, we will put these in with your kit. You're paying for it. They're $1.50 or something like that each. But we send them to you, and half the time they get used. Half the time people go, what are these for? We tell you, they forget. Or the contractor says, oh, you don't need this. Yes, you do. You need to hold yourself down. This is a hold down, this is a hold down. There's 2 different ratings on this thing. This one, if you put it on here, this gusset would have to get moved up or put to the inside. Take it off, put it on. It's only holding up this 2x4. And this is going to hold this down even better. So this piece that's in here, this is going to go down, and it's going down to another one of these that's down below on this wood foundation wall and screwed into the side of that 2x8 in the corner. There's a double 2x8 right down there. Use 3-inch screws, goes into the second one also. So now that threaded piece comes down into here. Again, take that piece that you get. There's a nut on it. You don't need a washer, but they do supply a washer, I believe. And tighten this thing up. Tighten that one up down there first, and then come and put this one all the way down. Leave the threaded wad sticking up. You don't have to cut it off.
How many corners do you put that on?
Where do you live? Where do you live?
In Colorado, yeah.
So you're not in Tornado Alley.
No.
Every other corner?
We get 100-mile-an-hour winds once in a while.
Every other corner. And what's your sight like? What's my sight like? You know? Yeah, both these domes probably could be blown off their foundation if I didn't have 60-foot high pine trees around to block the wind. And I've been here in 90-mile-an-hour winds, 80-mile-an-hour winds. And those pine trees are leaning back and forth. So you look at your site, figure out what you need. You need this, you need the bigger one. But this is the tie down. If it's going into concrete, you have an anchor bolt coming up out of the concrete. You want a short version of this. And this is going to be down in your concrete, and you embed that about 8 inches down. So there's concrete all around here, all the way up to here. This isn't going to come out of the concrete. Your anchor bolt that you would buy at the hardware store is a 1/2 inch. It's got a little L on it. It's supposed to be 7 inches into the concrete. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes that concrete on the edge is not well solidified. A variety of things that could not be very well. But if you have this pulling up on the concrete, nothing's going to pull this up out. For the wind load on your house trying to pull it off the foundation, it's going to be held down, here it is right here, with all this concrete. You have this come up so far, there's a connector that you screw onto this and put another rod down into that. Depends on how high it is from where you're going up to here. You've got to place this rod, if you're putting this rod in concrete, and you've got a connector here that's screwed to your edge of your 3x10, you have to know where the edge of the 3x10 is and where that hole is in order to place that anchor bolt in your concrete. The other option, you can drill a hole in your concrete in the right spot. Use a 2-part epoxy adhesive. I'll bring this over. Here's your 2-part epoxy adhesive. This is another Simpson product that we're using. You need this gun in order to shoot this out of here. And here's you could buy a package of 5 nozzles that screw onto here so that you can go down into the hole of the concrete that you drill in order to set the threaded rod down in your concrete. You don't need a nut on the end. This 2-part epoxy adhesive will give you the same pull down rating in the concrete, but you got to do it right. Follow the directions. The hole can't be oversized more than what they say. You have to blow it out with an air compressor, and then you buy the special brush, wire brush, that roughs up the edges of the hole, because your drill didn't do it correctly, because it's going to smooth it out. So you need this, you need the wire brush, you need the 2-part epoxy, all the stuff that you need to do the hole down correctly. But it's actually easier because now you don't have to line up this anchor bolt exactly in the spot where it's going to come up so we can tie it into the side of this 3x10. We can give you the dimension. We can tell you where it's supposed to be.
You have that all those materials listed in the construction manual?
No.
Is there a template that you can
We have
use?
a drawing that shows our riser wall. And there's a little bit of leeway here because you could put it here or here. You can mount this wherever. It's just that you need a good connection between here. And if you're off more than 3/4 inch, I mean, you could add a 3/4 inch plywood piece on here if your hole was 3/4 inch off. But if it's the other way, this is in the way.
Yeah.
So you want to be relatively close. There is some leeway in placing it this way, certainly, and this way. This gun is like, if you feel it and if you use it, it's $75 for the gun. This is, I forgot what this is, but it's X number of dollars for this 2-part epoxy. But this is going to give you the same hold down without having to pre-put these in and figure out and pre-drill it through this base plate when you put your riser walls on. It's very hard to do that. Even if you were trying regular anchor bolts coming in, it's just hard to do this layout.
How many holes will that set that you have there
I'm
take
not
care
sure.
of?
They tell you in that, because that's what it's used for, for 5/8 anchor rods, they tell you exactly how many holes that will fill.
But you're filling the whole area for that square, right?
No, no.
Oh.
You're drilling a hole that is about a 1/16 oversized in the concrete. I'm
Okay.
saying this is concrete right here.
Okay, but the square washer's not going in?
The square washer, in this situation, the square washer is not going in or threaded. This is not going in, you just have a threaded rod. You don't have
All
any
right.
of this.
Okay.
And your threaded rod is what's going down in there. And the threads are, with the epoxy,
Yep,
are glued to that concrete hole.
gotcha.
And the uplift of this, without this, the uplift is about the same as if you were to put this down in your concrete and try to pull it up. That's what we're seeing in the Simpson catalog. We actually have the big Simpson catalogs in the house, and if you want to take them in the office, there's a bunch of literature and racks in there, and you can take whatever you want. It's there for you to look at and take. You will, if you've got a building inspector and your code, is that Mar? Yeah, right. If you've got a building inspector, you're going to be required to do a blower door test. If he follows the 2015 code and certainly on the 2018 code. Which means they're going to come to your house, has to be completed enough that you're closed up. Doesn't have to have sheetrock on the inside. You can have your air barrier, your vapor barrier taped and sealed, and you can do it like we did at Bear Creek that way. And you open your door, they've got this little portable frame that fits any door. The top and bottom slide, the two sides slide. This is a fabric, mylar type plastic fabric that fills that opening tight to your door. They seal it around the door jamb. And it's about a 30-inch diameter fan built into this fabric, sealed around that. So they turn that on after they've hooked up their computer stuff to it. They turn that on, and they're either going to depressurize your house or they're going to pressurize your house. And the terminology that's used is fit to a level of 50 pascals. So it's either minus 50 pascals or plus 50 pascals. I can't tell you what pascals are, other than air pressure, okay? So they're pressurizing your house. I mean, it's not to the point where your eardrums are gonna go in there or something. But it puts pressure inside so that it's blown out. You got this fan moving air in there. And then he takes, and he can tell the back pressure on the fan. The computer can tell the back pressure on the fan, and he'll say, okay, your house is has got a level of CFM loss that's equivalent to, or tell you exactly what it is, and you're good, you're bad, you're lousy, you're really good. So then he takes the smoke bottle, looks like cigarette smoke coming out of it, a little squeeze on it, and puff of smoke comes out. And you go around and you try to find your air leaks. Because he says, oh, you got 3,000 CFM loss. A farmhouse is 6,000, 7,000 CFM. A really good new house is 1,000, 1,200, somewhere in that range. That's what I've heard them say to me. But if you had 3,000, you want to find the air leaks. You want to get that down. It's also the equivalent of how many air changes for the volume of air inside that you have. And the code says 3 air changes. That's what they say. So all of this is related. I mean, the sealing of this thing starts right here. We did 2 blower door tests on Bear Creek. And the first one, my guys learned a lot of lessons. They thought they had it really good. They really tight, all the seams taped with the venture taped and caulked and sealed. And then we showed, I didn't show, the guy who did the blower door test showed us where all the leaks were. And we came back and fixed it. Even putting in the skylight. That was 10 years ago now. So when we put our skylights in over there, we caulked along that edge before we put that 2x4 up to that plywood, thinking there's our air seal right there. Screwed all this frame in here, 7 inches on center with 2.5 lag screws, all this stuff that we did. And you walk up the smoke pencil and you get a little squirt and it kind of floats and it goes flying out, an unseen slit between the frame of the riser wall and the frame of the skylight 2x4. You couldn't visually tell there was a crack there. And outside, you go outside and there's the smoke coming outside underneath the flashing. So that's when we changed the skylights and did a foam tape on the bottom of the 2x4, so when it's against the plywood, you've got an air seal. So it's those kind of things that told us, okay, there's problems here. This is not tight enough. Same thing would be true with a Velux skylight. You want that sealed up. Conventional windows. You have new regulations on conventional windows, the way you have to seal around them. So all of this is part of it. And long story short, you have to start right here. You have to start when you're doing these panels. You're going to ventilate your dome, but you don't want the air to come down into here. There's a whole story on that. We're revising some things currently in the construction manual that we want you to fill this hole right here, and this is a hole, with foam. Buy some foam cans, or you've got enough spaces around here, buy the box of foam, 2-part epoxy, or 2-part urethane foam, whatever they're called. You know, it's a BiPAC. I mean, there's different brand names for it, but it's enough to do all of the sealing that you have to do,
So would you
getting
recommend-
these sealed up and
Would you
stuff.
recommend putting that in all khakis? Every one of them? Before I go up and
Did we, what
It's not
kind?
plastic yet or anything, it's just all just insulation. But
And-
it's stuffed insulation in the holes.
But we didn't vent.
But that's unvented.
See, we did a hot roof on Kathy's dome, so it's unvented. So yes, it would be nice if all of this was filled. Otherwise, you have an air gap in here. There's no insulation through here. You can try to stuff
Yeah.
fiberglass.
I tried, but
You
frostbite would be
can't.
easier.
You can't get in here very well, or in this space right in here. The big space is here, the little tiny space is here. Yeah.
If it's
We that tight, you should. Can you make it that tight? It's hard, but you can do it. But you gotta do a blower door test in order to find out. How much are they? Do you have a utility that subsidizes the energy audit? We do in Plymouth, we do up north, we can do a blower door test for $60, $70. Here, when we did it, we didn't have a utility. Now we have natural gas. They will subsidize it. So I paid, I think it was $450 for the first blower door, and the second one he did for $300. So $750 for 2 blower door tests. But that's a tight house. That's what makes that house work. So if you're not going to do it, you're going to have a leaky house. I'm not going to say as leaky as a farmhouse, but
When you said air-to-air exchanger, what do you mean there?
it's an HRV or an ERV, a heat recovery ventilator or an energy recovery ventilator. We'll talk more about that when we're talking insulation. We'll get into the insulation part about that. But it's something you need. What does it cost? $1,500, $2,000, depends on the quality level that you're going to get. Can you do it? Can you install it? You can. But there's a lot of pipes running around supplying fresh air. Or you just take their 6-inch duct and dump it into your house, and somewhere take the 6-inch that's blowing exhaust air and have that suck air from someplace, and you've got your air-to-air exchanger. Not going to work. It's not going to be balanced. If you've got a building inspector and he's following new code and it's 2015, maybe. But 2018, he's following the code and he knows about it, You need balanced return and supply in each of the habitable rooms. So it's getting there. It's coming. We have air-to-air exchangers at Bear Creek Dome. We're dumping fresh air into every bedroom, sucking it out of 4 different places, and dumping it outside. I've got 2 filters on that. We closed up the house. We finally opened up the house recently. Before this, it was closed up because I got spring hay fever. It's affecting Tessa a little bit too. So with that, we've got filtered air coming in, fresh air, in the middle of a winter. We've got fresh air coming in. Your house isn't closed up. You can close it up. I mean, you close all your windows and doors tight, put the locks on and everything. But this fresh air coming in, it is great to walk into a house that doesn't smell like it's been closed up for 3 months.
In our house, it was passed with the fresh air dumping into the furnace cold air plenum. And that way it just went through the heat exchanger right out every single register in the house.
Right, there is a system, and the heating and ventilating people know that you can dump it into that supply vent. It isn't the best way to do it, and there's some stuff online. If you go to the blogs that are out there talking about it, it's not the best way, but it does do it. Let's put this on while we're still here. Got me into the spiral stair is meeting code requirement and showing the building inspector that the spiral stair can meet the code requirement. And the people who make spiral stairs, they know that. They know what the code is. But it is a little hard to haul furniture out.
That's why you have an open space in your loft.
That's right. And you have a removable railing,
Yes.
so you can haul stuff up and over from the open part of your balcony. It works. It's simple. So, spiral stairs are not out of the question. It's just you don't want them less than about 6 feet.
Or you buy at the Swedish shop and you put it together from the box.
IKEA.
It's a metal rod that goes down, and these round blocks fit down over the top, and the tread has got a rounded edge on it. They all stack, and then you tighten it down with a big washer and nut on the top. And every maybe 3-4 years, you lift this cap off and take a little turn and tighten it up some more because the wood is shrunk. We know that from experience. But they're, if you wanted to build it, you could build it. A lot of new products out there coming out. Solar shingles are one of them. Tesla's got a solar shingle. Sounds pretty pricey to me, but they come back and say, okay, here's the payback. You've got free solar for X number, well, the life, or 25 or 50 years, whatever they're saying the life of their solar shingle is. There's another company doing what I'll call standing seam roof, which does not work on a dome, except the 2 frequency dome. But it doesn't work. The seams just, you can't get them to line up and seal, and how do you start them, how do you end them? But that's what they've got is a solar shingle, and it's supposed to be half the price of what Tesla's got coming out.
It's not, no, really, because I'm going to make you cut it open.
This is what you'll get. It's a brand new Rapala fish knife for cleaning fish. It won't be worth cleaning fish when you're done. We're going to wrap this roll up again with the rope here, so I'm going to cut the rope. And I also don't know how to do these knots the guys know how to do, so is that what it is? Yep.